Ever since I started doing these commentaries, I've said that we should look for Trump and his Project 2025 masters to take advantage of the first opportunity to suspend constitutional protections and declare that the country is in a state of emergency. The reason I believe this is because it's the textbook example of how tyrants take over. They declare the state in such deep doo-doo that it is necessary to suspend accepted law for the good of the country. For Hitler, it was the Reichstag fire, still disputed to this day by historians whether the perpetrator was really the Dutch nationalist who was convicted and executed for it, or whether it was started by the Nazis themselves. But what is not in dispute is that Hitler used it to his full advantage, because the very next day Hitler pushed through the Reichstag fire decree, suspending civil liberties and enabling mass arrests of political opponents while consolidating his hold on power. A few weeks later came the Enabling Act that effectively made him a dictator. Is this Trump's Reichstag fire? When I've talked about this, I imagined it would be something like the George Floyd murder and the mass protests that followed. It hadn't really occurred to me that it would be a Trump acolyte who would help start the fire, but as Rahm Emanuel said, never let a serious crisis go to waste. So it's sorry, Charlie, but this is just too good to pass up. Almost immediately before anything was known about the shooter, Trump went to work blaming the radical left. None of this namby-pamby, healer-in-chief bullshit. Not for Trump. He was on it by hammering hour after hour, day after day, that it was the radical left that was to blame. And the difference in the radical left and the radical right is that the right-wingers just want to reduce crime, while the leftists, well, we're just full of hate. And that message took hold with his MAGA faithful. I had a member of my family post under one of my commentaries that it was disgusting. What I had said that was so disgusting, I had posted Charlie Kirk's own words with the admonition that words sometimes outlive you. And have you noticed that when Trump or any of his lapdogs accuse the radical left, they never name names? I'd have no problem identifying the radical right. Nick Fuentes, a white nationalist leader who likes to give the Nazis salute and who had dinner with Trump at Mar-a-Lago, would certainly belong in that category. Names like Richard Spencer, Jared Taylor, and Andrew Anglin, who is the founder of the Daily Stormer, a neo-Nazi website. These are all members of the radical right, and believe me, stopping crime is not high on their list. J.D. Vance spent the first Monday after Kirk's death hosting Kirk's show. And just like his boss, he didn't waste any time in accusing the far left of being the real problem with political violence in this country. But he added a new wrinkle. In a strictly Orwellian move, he advised people to rat out their neighbors. He said if you heard others celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, call their employers, in an effort, obviously, to get them fired. Well, you know what a rat hole that is, neighbors calling out neighbors. All of this is happening while Trump is calling out the National Guard to patrol cities that have Democrats as mayors. Yes, you should be alarmed. No, you should not be intimidated. What Trump is counting on is that just the threat of retribution will keep you away from the polls on voting day and away from anti-Trump rallies, lest some harm will come to you at the hands of your government. This is Trump America, Trumplandia. Is this his Reichstag moment? We know exactly what he's up to. It's time to fight back, peacefully, of course. It's up to us to fight for our freedom. By the way, the next No Kings rally is October 18th. Stay woke.